Let me start with a fear that honestly keeps me up at night. What if 10 years from now, the only difference between the people who are running things and the people who feel stuck is the one group that actually turned the problems into products, and the other group just kept talking about them? Because here's what I'm seeing. AI tools like Replit, Claude, Lovable, all of them, they're all making it so unfairly easy to ship that not building starts to look less of a lack of a skill and more of a choice. Because Replit went from this tiny browser-based coding sandbox in 2016 to an AI-powered platform helping millions of people build full apps from a laptop in a bedroom. And while all of that's happening, most smart teens and 20-year-olds are still stuck in the idea of voice note mode. The scary part is this: if you're 16 to 22 right now and you don't learn how to at least direct software, not even become a 10 times engineer, just be able to direct it, you risk becoming the person who has incredible insights to problems, but no ways to turn them into leverage. And so today, I want to flip that fear into a blueprint. And I'm going to walk you through some apps that you can build on Replit today that all start as problems I actually face, with fancy solutions I wish existed, and then turn them into a very practical system for you to ship. And we'll all put them into today's episode with Amjad Masad using Replit. So let's get into this. Before we talk about what to build, I just want you to picture something. Imagine you're in a city where most people don't have a laptop at home. If you want to code, you need to go to an internet cafe, pay by the hour, and hope that no one needs to use your seat. You're learning on borrowed machines, in borrowed time, trying to push real software through a setup that was never designed for you. That's the environment Amjad Masad grew up in Amman, Jordan, long before AI coding agents or billion-dollar valuations. And he didn't start with a MacBook or a YC network. He started with friction, no personal computer, internet cafes, and the constant gap between I wrote some code and this code actually works. And so why am I telling you all of this? Because Replit isn't just some random dev tool. It's what happens when someone gets so annoyed by the gap, the distance between I have code and this code actually works, that they design their entire career around killing that friction. And so Amjad goes from those internet cafes to working on JavaScript infrastructure at Facebook and then becoming an early engineer at Code Academy. So he's seen both ends of the spectrum when it comes to total beginners trying to print hello world to elite teams who just want to be able to ship faster. And the question that ties all of this down together is, why is getting from idea to running software still so painful for most people? And Replit is essentially the answer to that. Not in a pitch deck way, but in a product way. Open a browser and you're able to code in seconds. No local setup, no environment drama, and no, wait, which version of Node do I have again? One place where beginners can learn and serious builders can continue to ship. So if you were to zoom out, that's the same problem you and I are facing right now as Gen Z builders, but just in a different costume. Our internet cafe is not hardware anymore. It's context switching, procrastination, perfectionism, and the fake busyness. You have the ideas and you technically have the skills, but the gap between idea and link is still kind of big. So when I say build on Replit, I don't just mean, hey, use this really cool website. I mean, steal the incredible mindset behind it. Notice the frictions that everyone around you has normalized, and then get unreasonably annoyed by them. And then instead of ranting, ask, what would the Replit style of me do here? Like, how do I make this go from hard to one click for me and my friends? Amjad's paths from internet cafes in Amman to running a massive AI developer platform is proof that your current constraints can be your biggest product brief. And the only real question is whether you treat them as permanent or as prompts. And that's exactly the lens I want you to look at for the app we're about to build right now. Alright, so now I want to make this part simple because I'm literally 16 and I'm not trying to pretend like I'm some sort of senior engineer. But this is the exact system I would use if I were starting from zero. And I'll share my screen in a few seconds. But around a few days ago, my morning would look like this. 6 a.m. alarm, volleyball practice until 8, then school, eat, homework, then straight into podcast prep, pulling interview questions, reading founder backstories, trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about. And somewhere in the middle of that, I'm sitting in my science class mentally, rehearsing what I should have asked my last guest, not listening to a single thing my teacher's talking about. But that's the thing nobody talks about when you're trying to build something when you're young. It's not the schedule, it's that your brain is always running 2 tabs at once. And because nobody around me is doing this, like none of my classmates are launching podcasts or losing sleep over their episode release dates, there's like no one to say, yeah, me too. So I started thinking, what if there was an app for that? Not a calendar, not another to-do list, something that actually understands the specific kind of overwhelm that comes with doing too many real things at once. one that knows that volleyball practice is different from school, which is different from a recording session, and helps you understand and show up for each one instead of being mentally half present for all of them. So that's my second app idea, but I'll come back to that later. First, I want to show you how I actually build. And it starts not with code, but with a plan. And here's the exact system. Two AIs. One makes the plan and the other builds it. All right, we're gonna start out in Claude, and I've got an idea I actually want to explore and try out. Right, it's called the Volleyball IQ Trainer, and it's basically an app where I can tap in the zones where serves land during practice, and then at the end it'll tell me which drills I need to review and run based on where I'm weakest. Right, so here's the prompt I'm going to put into Claude. Let me copy it. Okay, so I'm 16, I play volleyball, and I want to build an app on Replit. The idea: I tap a volleyball court diagram after each serve to mark where it's landed. And at the end of practice, the app tells me which zones I'm struggling in and generates specific drills to fix them. Write me a PRD that I can feed into Replit and keep it under 3 pages with a clear V1 scope. All right, so I'm going to upload this into Claude, extended thinking, probably the best version, and then we're going to upload that to Claude, right? Claude's going to do its thing, and let's see what happens. All right, so look what just happened. Claude didn't restate my idea back to me. It gave me what the app does, who it's for, what version 1 has to look like, what can wait, and roughly what data it needs to send to the AI to generate the drills. That's the product manager's job, and it took less than 30 seconds. So we can just skim through this and we can look at the PRD, right? We have the problem and goal, users, version 1, zone heat map, struggle zones, history screen, right? We have the data model, local storage, UI and UX requirements, right? So we have a bit of everything. All right, so now we can download this. Download as PDF, save as PDF, save that. All right, and now we can go to Replit and feed this in. So now we're in Replit. All right, so I now have the PRD PDF, right? And I'm just gonna ask Replit, hey Replit, based on the PDF uploaded, are you able to design an app, right? And that's all we need because everything we need is in the PDF. Replit can read it and it will create the app, right? So now we're just gonna hit upload or create, right? So wait for that. All right, so Replit over here is created a very simple generic app, right? We have our new session for uploading any stats, and then we have our history, right? So let's just run it through. Let's say Rayan, let's say a float serve. Session length was half an hour. Start session. Let's say we served 4, 2, 1, 5. Maybe let's say we didn't get any outs, and yeah, right, we're done now. Oh, this is how many oh, okay, look at this. This is how many serves we done. So let's go back and say we've done 10 serves. Name is Rayan. We've done some jump floats, right? We served 1, 5, 3, 4, and we did 2 and 6 out, right? And we got to do a few more in, right? So now we're done. Now it's given us where we need to improve: 100% accuracy, 0% accuracy in different zones, right? So I feel like this is pretty good. Our accuracy is 60%, total serves are 10. It looks pretty simple and generic, right? We can save this session and this will go in our history. All right, so that was pretty generic, right? I feel like we can add a section for, hey, can you add a section for drills to improve different serves or serve types? And what else can we improve? We can say, oh yeah, we can add also a average section. And can you also add a section for all my practice averages of my serves, right? So let's tell that to Replit. Maybe we can add some things because it looks pretty generic. It's pretty simple, right? Anyone can use this, but I feel like it needs to be more unique, right? More sections, so we're gonna tell Replit to do that, right? So you see how we're not doing everything from scratch. You're just steering the outcome. There's a difference. And so, by the way, I think the Replit Pro version or Replit paid version will definitely be faster than this and a lot more better when it comes to design and UI and UX design. As you can see, I've also used already 36% of my, I think, tokens, or however much I'm allowed to use. So yeah, Pro version, a lot more tokens over there, a lot more prompts, a lot more apps you can build, and it'll take shorter amount of time to build because this took around 5-6 minutes. I think Pro will be 2 to 3 half the time. So yeah. All right, so we can just wait until this is done now. All right, so Replit has added the new sections, okay, for stats, okay, averages, and then here are the drills that we can do. Oh, okay, this is really cool. We have beginner, intermediate, and advanced, right, for different serving techniques, different serving drills for each technique. Okay, different amount of reps. This is really cool, right? So like, yeah, you've just like typed another prompt and you have a whole new app, right? So once again, you're not writing everything from scratch. You're just steering the outcome, right? So there's a difference in that, right? So yeah, this is how the app would look after like what? This has been like 10-15 minutes. This is what you can build, right? So now if you want to publish this, there's just a big blue publish button right here. You click publish. You can give it a name. You can give it your own domain if you have one. Make it public for anyone to use or only you. Again, you have to pay for that. This is pro. And then yeah, we can just hit publish. And this is the URL. That's the URL. All right, so we published the app and this is the link, right? We can just copy it and we can check it out in Google, right? It's over here. It works. And then all of these stats and all these sessions will be saved to the backlog on Replit, but it only has a limited amount of storage. So if you want more, you can always connect your own like API key so that you have like a bigger backend, right, for saving all the stuff. But yeah, that's basically it. All right, so this would look like for my other idea. Remember that overwhelm I described at the start? 6 a.m. mornings, the split brain school days, the loneliness of doing something around you no one else is doing? That became an app idea as well. So something I'd call the context switcher, an app that lets you log which mode you're in: volleyball, podcast, school, recovery, and it would give you a 2-minute mental reset between them. Not a to-do list, a ritual, something that actually helps you close one tab in your brain before you open the next one. The same process. So I'll share my screen. All right, so I would go to Claude and I'm gonna say, I'm 16, I do volleyball, run a podcast, and go to school. And I want a simple app where I can switch between modes and get a short mental reset prompt for each transition. So can you write a PRD for Replit? And we'll just hit enter because Claude knows exactly what to do. All right, so we can cut this part until we have the PRD. Replit is open. Let me see. Where's my mouse? Okay, Replit's there. All right, so Claude gave me the PRD. It's called Mode Shift, Mental Reset app, right? We have the overview, problem, target user, the different modes, core features, technical specs, structures, prompt, design, rules, right? We got everything, right? Now we can download this as a PDF, save as PDF, and we'll go over to Replit and copy and paste this, right? So read the PRD. Let me upload the PRD. It's called Replit PRD motion, right? We have the PDF now. We can just drag and drop, and yeah, Replit will read the PDF and build a simple app, right? So we can just hit create. All right, so Replit here has generated our mode shift for us, right? I'm ready. Oh, this is so cool. Recent switches. This is insane, right? I love how simple and clean it is, right? Conversation is done, let your voice rest. It'll give you a little motivational quote, right? And it gives you the time when she switches. Okay, this is really cool, nice and simple. Let's say I want hey, are you able to make the shifting time from mode to mode a bit longer, as I think it's too short. Okay, so we can upload that, and yeah, overall I love how clean and simple it is. Just 5 seconds though, and 5 seconds is not enough time to read everything it says, like the little motivational quote. So I think a little bit more time would be great, but yeah, I think that's it. And then the same way you'd publish it, you just click publish and you're ready to publish. All right, and then we have it on a website as well. You can open it in a new tab. Here it is. Right? All right, so now the shifting time, let's see. Yeah, it's a good 10 seconds. You have time to read. Close the tab on your thoughts. Your body already knows what to do. Step on the court as an athlete, not as a student. All right, this is great. And then also track your times, right? So yeah, took another like 3 minutes to make this app. This is crazy, right? So one AI to think, one AI to build, 2 things to enhance. Remember, you automate the output, but you own the outcome, right? So yeah, that's it. If this still feels like a lot, here's one sentence I want you to walk away with today. Your problem is your brief. Claude turns your brief into a plan, and Replit turns your plan into a product. If a 16-year-old who's running on 6 a.m. volleyball practice and a half-eaten lunch between recording sessions can do this, so can you. Remember, if you're 16 and 22 right now, here's what I want you to do after this episode. And I actually want you to do this, not to plan about it. Pick one problem or challenge that you face and write a 1-page PRD using Claude. Like, remember to include the problem, user, version 1 scope, and then the success metric. And here's my request for you. If you build any version of this, post it and tag the GenZEO Playbook, or even DM it to me. If enough of you guys do it, I'll record a follow-up episode where we review a few of your projects and even live build improvements on top of them. Remember, you're not missing talent, you're missing systems and reps. Replit plus AI gives you the cheapest reps you'll ever get. So take on the fear of being left behind and turn it into the first app you ship this month. Thanks for listening to the GenZEO Playbook podcast. Remember to share this with a person who needs to hear it. And I'm Rayyan-s-Ali, and I'll see you in the next episode.